Alright guys, welcome back to a short film here, Airgun Ballistics. Make sure you like the channel, make sure you subscribe if you're brand new. We got a lot of ballistics tests ahead. Alright guys, I'm here with my slugs and my scale here, and I want to do a little talk on technical applications of these projectiles here. First of all, let's start with the most popular in the industry. We have the well, I don't want to say any names, but you guys know what these are. And that's, I believe, a 10mm round steel ball, hollow skirt, striated sides, and they fit pretty well in these rotaries. Well, we'll say it. It's a Devastator. I'm not really sure exactly who makes these, but I'll say the name because I actually really like these. They're amazing. One of the best ever created, I believe. On the similar lines, these are the D's bullets, which also I think are my all-time favorite slugs. And I think most people would agree. They're affordable, they're aerodynamic, and they hit very, very hard. But there's a few reasons why I designed my slugs a little bit differently, and I'll get into that. Okay, so first of all, I came kind of with my own style of steel-tipped slugs here, guys, and you should be pretty familiar with these by now. These are my 8mm round steel-tipped slugs. Somebody called them AGB slugs, Airgun Ballistic Slugs, and these are pretty much the perfect projectile for these weapons, guys. They are the perfect projectile. We clocked it at 470 feet per second. My gun here was getting over 30 joules with these. And as I've shown in the videos, they penetrate very well, and they also hit very well, very hard. Speaking of penetration, guys, I wanted to bring something up about less lethal. There's a huge argument in the industry, you know, like this obviously is going to hit harder like a punch, and this is going to penetrate a lot deeper, okay? Now, here's my theory on less lethal, guys. We know for a fact, and also I've studied literally hundreds of videos on active self-protection. You can see him on YouTube. And I have really studied the movements of attackers and defenders. And you can look at statistics, guys, and for the most part, if you just brandish something that looks like an aggressive type deterrent, like this, a force multiplier, I think something like 8 or 9 times out of 10, people just run away or stop engaging. So it's important to look intimidating, I think. It's important to look good. I don't have any orange tips or anything stupid like that on these. I want them to look the part. And guys, I also want them to react. I also want them to act the part, okay? Now, I'm just thinking to myself, okay? If I was trying to pull a heist or something and someone, say, hit me with one of these. Now, of course, these have the power to penetrate too in the right tuned up gun. But for the most part, at a distance, these are going to pretty much bounce off you. They're going to hit you hard. You're going to feel it. You might even be, you know, not able to pursue an attack afterwards. But you're going to, if you see this thing bouncing around on the ground, you're going to know right away you got hit by something that's not a real firearm. Okay? So guys, the fact that the psychological aspect is so important and it deters the vast majority of attackers right away, well, I want to continue that psychological intimidation. That's why I think a little penetration is actually a good thing with less lethal. See, because if you hit somebody with this, I know if I was hit with this, it would go through my clothing, or my t-shirt at least, or bare skin. It would definitely penetrate. And there will be blood. I mean, you'll feel like you got shot. There will be blood. It will probably be indistinguishable to, you know, just a normal civilian on what is actually happening to them after they got hit with something like this. And I imagine that most people would just hightail it out of there and try to get to a doctor or an emergency room as fast as possible. Once you feel the force of something hit you like that, and you visually see the blood, well, I have to think that that's going to be a very big deterrent. Hit somebody in the forehead with this and it doesn't even penetrate, but it, goes in the skin a little bit and there's blood trickling down or something. I mean, that's going to be a lot more psychologically damaging than something that hits you, excuse me, maybe like in the jeans or something. And, we know close range. We've seen them online that these will actually penetrate the skin close range. But at 30 feet or something, it's just going to bounce off you and it's going to be rolling around all over the ground. I would instantly see something like that and think, okay, I got hit with something bad, but I'm not dead. And if I grabbed my chest and there was no blood there, no hole, well, then I probably wouldn't be as terrified as if one of these hit me in the chest and there was instantly blood and some kind of like entrance wound and I didn't know what was going on. I would just want to run the heck away. So, you may not agree with this theory, but like I said, I've studied thousands of cases of self-defense, and that has led me to design. I mean, I could easily take the same size rounds that are here. This is 10, I believe, or I think this is a 12. This is a 10 and this is an 8. But either way, they're different sizes, and this is the smallest one. This is the biggest one, and the D's bolts are about the medium-sized one. I could have easily bought these steel rounds and created these easily, but I purposely used the 8mm. Also, guys, I like a fast-moving projectile. I don't know about you guys, but when you get these really heavy rounds and stuff, they might, fly a little bit further, and they might have a heavier hit close range, but I like something that can do a little tearing damage. I like a lighter round, not too light because they go all stupid and they don't penetrate. Too light like these, and I'm gonna get to those, serves almost no one except for certain applications, which I'll get to on that as well. And I like a fast moving round, guys. I mean, we clock these at almost 500 feet per second. Okay, 473 feet per second, 31.01 joules. So I'm extremely happy with those. And guys, I thought to myself, how can I was working with a manufacturer that I know well, guys, and I was going to have these produced in a factory, but the profit margins to split with the manufacturer just would not make it worth it. And then I realized, what, I can make hundreds of these, thousands of these by hand if I have the right production style. I've got experience in forming little assembly lines, and that's what I've done with these. And I've perfected the art of basically getting them uniform like this. And as you can see, they've turned out very, very well, and they perform excellently. I want to talk about, though, the handmade aspect really quick and why I actually like the handmade aspect of these slugs. And it may seem crazy to you, but once I've gotten good at producing these, I can produce them by the hundreds in a day. I actually like the handmade more than the printed or the produced. And I'm going to explain why, okay? Take a look really quick at these popular slugs, guys. Okay, versus mine. Now, what you can clearly see here, guys, is that these steel tips are engulfed in this plastic sleeve. This one's really engulfed. Look at it. It's almost completely engulfed in the plastic sleeve, whereas mine is protruding from the plastic sleeve. And you can only really get this effect by hand making these, because that, that substance in there holds on to the ball just enough to hold it in there and let it protrude. I mean, these are strong. I drop them, everything. They don't come out. They don't come out when we fire them. Sometimes on soft targets, they don't come out at all. But they are much easy. They're much easier to pop out of this sleeve than they are to pop out of these sleeves. You can't do these by hand, really, like at all. Okay? These ones, I could pop this, if I really put my force into it, I could pop this out with my hand, okay? Also, the steel tip is protruding. Now, those two factors is what I was thinking about when I created these, because first of all, when the steel tip is protruding and it hits a target, it is, see, like if it hit flesh here, almost the entire projectile is going to be already piercing that flesh. See that? Whereas this, it would hit the sides and the tip at the same time almost. Okay? Now it hits the steel first, but this engulfs the entire steel. So the skirt is much lighter, okay, and much more fragile than these skirts. These skirts are almost part of the projectile. And yes, this skirt will hurt you when it hits you initially. It's got these sharp edges and it hits like with a big force. But the skirt is much more insignificant on mine than these two popular slugs, which basically deposits all the force in the tip of this projectile right here. All of the force is deposited right there where you need it, which is why these penetrate and hit so freaking hard, guys. That's why I designed them this way, and that's why they look like this, and that's why they perform like this, okay? And by the way, it took a long time, a couple months to figure that out. I had these all the way engulfed. I had them hanging out. I had them completely made, several different ways. I've thrown away many batches until I landed on this perfect slug, guys. It took me, I did the work. It took me a long time. So I like these the best, as far as a handmade slug goes. Now, I said these were my all-time favorite. They are. They're my all-time favorite to buy. But I'll never be buying ammo ever again. Okay? I'll be making these for myself, which is what got me into this. I love these guns, and I'm going to use them. And I got a couple of them, and I keep them for protection. And, these were for outside. I got my inside real firearms that I use for protection, but these are my outside guns. And, I thought, I do not want to buy ammo for these freaking things, and I want to shoot them a lot. I want to practice with these things, and I want to shoot them, every week so that I'm a good shot and I'm ready for self-defense if I need it. And you know what, guys? I thought to myself, I want to produce thousands of these things just for myself, just for my personal batch. But then I thought to myself, well, I'm producing them at such a good price. Well, they're still expensive. Everything's expensive. All this material cost me money to make, okay? Definitely did. And lots of time and engineering, okay? But I thought to myself, I want thousands of these because CO2s are relatively cheap. I can buy a pack of 40 of them at Walmart for $16 or whatever. But the ammo on these freaking guns, guys, on these self-defense revolvers and other less lethals, the rounds are expensive, guys. And I like to burn through them. I like to just blow shit up and shoot them and not go find them and try to use them again. I like to just use them and lose them. Okay, so I started developing all these, and I thought, okay, well, I can develop thousands of these with the style that I'm creating by hand, and I can actually sell them to people as a service because they're performing, they're great, and I'm going to have so many on hand, I might as well sell them. Why not? And I wanted some products to develop anyway, so that's how I landed on these, guys. Now, I thought, okay, I want to use this concept and take it even further. So first of all, I needed some training rounds. Okay, these ones, yeah, like I said, I want thousands to shoot willy-nilly. But I kind of feel bad just shooting these off into the, space, and just like when I'm just testing my gun or whatever, or doing a speed test and stuff. But also, these are so devastating. I actually sometimes want a lighter round just for practice and for maybe like a not so serious target. Like maybe you wanted to shoot like a anthill or like you got a red anthill or I don't know, a wasp nest. A wasp nest would be a perfect example, and you didn't want to damage your property or anything like that. Well, so I came up with these, which are my ultra light 1.5 gram. Let's weigh some of these, yeah. So you can see these are always 3 grams. See that? On the nose, okay? They're pretty much on the nose, guys, all of them. And then these are like 1.3, I think. Yeah, see, 1.3. So these are ultra light. We clocked them at like 500 or 600 feet per second. That's right, 599. So 600 feet per second out of here. And also, guys, these are very devastating. I mean, they do cause a lot of damage. They would really significantly hurt someone close range. But for a fun, light target, you know, you want to blow up something, hit a glass bottle, and sometimes these shatter and they just tear through things. There is a place for these. I don't know if I'm going to be producing them to sell. Possibly, maybe I'll make a little ad for them on eBay and see if people like them. They will be the cheapest ones, of course, but they're still not going to be, you know, extremely cheap. All my prices will be very competitive, but I will admit some of them will be a little bit pricey because of all the work that goes into them. But again, you get what they pay for, and these are honestly absolutely beautiful for a handmade slug, and they're just plain fun, guys. They move so fast out of that barrel. You know, they are just really enjoyable to shoot. So from there, I went to these, which are the steel core. Okay, so these have a nail inside of them, and the core goes all the way through them. You can see. And we've had some testing with these, and you guys should be familiar with these too. They deposit this steel core after hitting the target very effectively. I mean, these are like very dangerous stingers. Also, these are jagged, sharp steel cores, and they tear into anything. They tear, and then the rest of the projectile follows once they tear. I mean, I can almost puncture myself right there with that thing. So I shot this at sheet metal several times, and it just tore right through it. But excuse me, as my buddy Jason was pointing out, and I soon discovered, they're still too light, which means they're not causing enough damage. I think they are really, really formidable, and I will produce these, I believe, because there is a market for them, and I enjoy shooting these myself. Like I said, I want to produce thousands for myself, and then I'll put them up and say, hey, if anybody wants any of these, you can have some of my private stash here. These ones weigh 1.4, so we're only, you know, a fraction of a gram heavier than these dummy rounds. So they're not gonna, you know, I can't stop there. They're not gonna do it for me quite. So guys, the final stop here on this little journey of making steel core are these. These are my steel core skull slugs. And yes, they are the first ever skull slugs ever produced with a steel core for these type of, you know, projectile launchers. And I want to show you guys these. So first of all, let's weigh them. They're 2 grams each, exactly. Some of them are even a little bit heavier, like 2.1. See, this one's almost, you know, get on the heavier side. Yeah, some of them, they were designed to be 2.1. See, that one's 2.1 there. Okay, so this is the same concept, and I actually have not even fired these yet, guys, but my designs have been working out. So using deductive reasoning, I have come up with these, and I believe that these are going to be absolutely amazing, guys, for several reasons. First of all, they look badass. We understand that, okay? They're cool. Yeah, that's a cool gimmick and all that. But I believe these will perform well because, okay, first of all, look at the skull shape, okay? They're top heavy. See the bottom where the jaw is? It has less material, which means the energy will be deposited. Again, these are protruding, and the energy will be deposited right at the tip, okay? So it makes the skirt kind of insignificant. And then these have a giant steel core with a very sharp, jagged edge. It almost looks like a mohawk for these skulls if you look at it like that. See that? And they all have this sharp, jagged edge, and some of them are even like freaking almost razor sharp. But I have not shot these yet, but they have a very heavy, much heavier steel core than these, much thicker steel core, and a very sharp, intimidating steel core inside these. And also, I believe these have a break part here, these skulls. See that? They have a seam. So I think it's very possible that these will split apart upon heavy impact and will deposit that steel core into the targets. And like I said, I have not tried these yet. I've got the demonstration coming up in probably the next video. You guys know me. I can't wait to tear into these and start shooting them at everything. Blocks of soap and, you know, who knows, jugs of milk. We'll find something cool to shoot these at, and we'll get some real readings on these guys. So I wanted to share those with you. And I believe this is my final destination, no pun intended, for my steel core slugs coming up to an online store for you to purchase, or you can purchase directly through me. I'll put my email in the link. And please, guys, comment on the video, like the video. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. Let me know what you think. And yeah, I can't wait to use these bad boys. And tell me, you guys, thoughts on these if you can. And yeah, we'll get that power test going on the next video. Okay, guys. So once again, thanks for watching Airgun Ballistics. I got my new logo on the front of the video. Hope you like it. And I'll see you guys next time. All right, peace.